Hey guys, this is RuRoniK95 here. Once again, it is time for another discussion video that I wanted to talk about something that I haven't thought of doing one for a video like this. Is that I wanted to come by for a simple thing is that I haven't thought of doing one, which I should have done, despite though that I was planning on doing this video of all sorts as well. Well, particularly, I wanted to come by for today's topic and the discussion related to manga on here. I'm here basically wanted to talk to you about the differences between omnibus manga books and completed manga volume singles as well. You know, the ones that were like these complete volume singles on there. Because I have a feeling that I wanted to come by for a type of this kind of discussion for a video like this as well. Is that once there was basically omnibuses on here are like completing all the volumes of putting them all in one to a complete omnibus book of the original manga source material by putting all volumes into one big of a book. For example, like Death Note, Azumanga Daioh, every other manga title that has like, I think they have like these omnibus ones, like having all in one take for a combining all these volumes to make it like a big complete book on every other ones as well. So that's the thing though. And recently there's also basically those complete volume singles of manga, like for example, like that are all completed. Sorry. Like once of them where have these manga titles from them by genres on complete volumes on here. For example, like shoujo, shonen, isekai, action, adventure, horror, any type of genre depicting in manga titles on here, especially for complete volume singles of manga on here, and also dark fantasy in complete volume mangas on here. Like once of them that were from like these publishers for manga, you know, like for example Viz Media, Dark Horse Manga, Kodansha Comics, and there's Vertical Comics, as well as Tokyo Pop. On every several occasions, as well as Udon Entertainment, and same goes with Yen Press. On every several occasions as well on these types of manga material on there particularly. Like, so the recently though is that there is a bunch of completed manga titles on here, especially for volumes. For example, like Ranma 1/2, Rurouni Kenshin, Fist of the North Star, Urusei Yatsura, Maisa Nikoku, Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto, Bleach, Fairy Tail, Tagami Bachi, Beastars, The Rose of Versailles, on every other manga titles that are part of those, one of those manga titles that are complete especially if it's in Japanese translated manga books that were printed in Japan. But I know there's some that are getting English translated for manga, especially whenever they are getting those what we are getting in the West here on there. So this explains the reason why is that there's other types of complete manga volumes. There's also incomplete manga volumes out there also as well that were never completed. For example, like Bastard, the manga titles such as Bastard, Please Tell Me Galko-chan, on every other manga titles out there that are getting big in the media as well. When there's a capacity for whenever it comes by for these completed manga volumes on here, especially like, for example, like depending on these types of manga volumes, you know, for example, like manga books that are completed like 28 volumes or 36 volumes or 56 volumes or over 100 manga book volumes on here, or any one of them as well. And there's even also 13 complete manga volumes, like say for example like the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon manga, like when they were released under Kodansha in the US on there by Kodansha Comics. They have them in those box set separate ones as well, particularly. Same goes with all completed volumes of the manga from Akira Toriyama. For example, like Dragon Ball Z and the original Dragon Ball manga. Especially they have them in those completed manga box set as well, particularly. On every other occasions of how they want to do this, and same goes with the complete manga box sets from other Shonen Jump, like for example like Bleach, Naruto, etc. On every other occasions, and also same goes with other manga titles such as Claymore, also on every other ones. Hey, even Rurouni Kenshin had like 28 volumes on here, because same goes with Yu Yu Hakusho. That manga was also part of the complete manga volumes on here, because I think it only lasted about like, I believe 19 volumes on there. Same goes with the Urusei Yatsura manga, like when it was first published in Japan during the 80s on there. I think it only lasted about over 33 or 34 volumes approximately, if I'm not mistaken as well. And on top of this, yeah, Ranma 1/2 was also completed when it was first published in Japan, and when it was printed in Japanese as well, especially like when it has like over 38 volumes on here. Most of them were getting translated in English, which is basically only lasted about 36 volumes, which is how it's collected, especially for when it ever gets translated in English. Fist of the North Star, on the other hand, when it was first published in Japan as a manga in the 80s, I think it only lasted about either 27 or 28 volumes on here, when most of them were like published in Japanese as well. Up until first it came was Raijin Comics, which they published it only like in the full color ones as well, particularly. But now, this signature media has brought the Fist of the North Star back by publishing it in, I think it was these hardcovers that are part of this signature selection as well, which that is a good thing though, particularly. Yeah, because I have been basically when you're having leaps and bounds of collecting a manga book as well. Hey, even Hikaru no Go only lasted about like 23 volumes, which is all completed when it was first originally published in Japan, in Japanese. Viz Media got the hold of the Hikaru no Go manga books on here. They were all published in English, which is only lasted about like approximately like 23 volumes as well. Same with One Piece on here. One Piece was also published in Japan in Japanese under Shueisha Jump Comics. However, in the US, I would think this was part of Shonen Jump manga on there as well, because most of them got like over 100 volumes when they were translated in English on there as well. Especially for every manga collector had, so when they wanted to buy them, either separately or individually, or buying these manga books and all completed in a box set on there, especially when they keep their money when their mouth is, so to speak, as well. Because I have been taking every simple things about buying manga in there on every manga books that are completed as well. For example, like English translated manga books that are published in Japan, but it's only printed in Japanese on every other ones. For example, like manga titles under Shonen Sunday Comics, under Shogakukan, Jump Comics in Japan as well, part of Shueisha Jump Comics on here. On every several occasions of how this has come by for how I wanted to come to explain about completed manga volumes on here. Like if you buy a complete manga set in Japanese on there, like you can go to Book Off on here, it's all wrapped up with all these manga books, like top and below, like all completed. Especially if you ever want to buy a manga that is all completed, which is in Japanese. If you ever go into Mandarake or Book Off, which is basically another used store, which you can buy them for cheaper price. Especially if you ever want to go to it as well. And especially if you save up the money though as well, which is a lot worth as well. Especially when they put their money when the mouth is, so to speak, as well. Yeah. And also, same goes with buying complete manga volumes on there. For example, like Mercari, eBay, on every other occasions as well. Same goes with buying all these individual manga volumes all together, including the other ones. Take, for example, Right Stuff online, because I think it's a perfect go-to online stores on there. Whenever you can buy a manga book, whether it's either completed volumes individually or in the manga box sets or as the omnibuses as well. There's all same goes with these 3-in-1 omnibus edition one. Like some manga books put in like these 2-in-1 editions. Other ones have put like 3-in-1 editions. Like for example, what Viz Media had. For example, like the regular 3-in-1 edition volumes, 3-in-1 editions, and that are part of Viz Big editions. Also, on every several things as well. Accordingly as well. And it's the biggest thing as well, how I wanted to come by for this as well, for the certain amount of this. Like I have been buying manga books that are in English at my local library when they had a book sale, whether it's a former library copy or the ones that are donated as well, even though I've already did a discussion of this. Let's take an example for single volumes on here, like all completed. Like say, for example, I have this copy of Yu Yu Hakusho Volume 1. I think this is part of these individual Volume 1s on here, because I think that's the reason I had to come by for this type of discussion as well, of how I can come by on this. Same goes with other manga books on here that I also have, that are also part of the omnibuses I have, which I also came across, of how I wanted to come by on this and as well get into a certain amount of topic as how I come by for this one as well. Omnibuses are, however, these are the ones that are combined, taking like all completed volumes, and they make it as an omnibus book. Let's say, for example, like I have this copy of Azumanga Daioh, the omnibus manga I have here. This was originally a 4-volume manga when they were published by ADV Manga on here. But the omnibus, however, I have basically wanted to buy this for like $1 each, which I think it's a deal when I got this as well. Hey, I think it's better, like, especially if you want to do like a manga review by having a omnibus as well, accordingly as well. And yeah, that is the reason of how I wanted to come by between omnibuses and individual volume single ones as well. Come by, which I have the biggest example of this as the reason of how I wanted to discuss about this, if anybody wants to claim for that as well. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing of how I wanted to come by for this one as well. There's other newer editions for every manga that are also getting omnibuses on here. Of my, like, I still have my manga copy of Azumanga Daioh, which is the older edition of the omnibus manga from ADV Manga. This one also got a newer edition from Vertical Comics on here, even though I've already done a manga review on Azumanga Daioh in the past as well. So that basically explains the reason of how I wanted to come by, because I have been buying manga-wise as well, accordingly, which I wanted to come around. Apparently, though, is that you would expectly know for this of all sorts on that. And then eventually, especially if we ever wanted to do like a manga review on there, by, like, say for example, because I have reviewed 10 volumes of the Inuyasha manga on there, which is basically I reviewed 10 out of 56 of the volumes of the Inuyasha manga, because I'm still getting more volumes of the Inuyasha manga from Viz on there, because I think that basically is the reason of how I can do like a manga review on these volumes. Same goes with Urusei Yatsura and Ranma 1/2 and Fushigi Yugi on there. Hey, even Viz Big had these 3-in-1 editions of the Fushigi Yugi, the Mysterious Play manga, and those 3-in-1 editions under Viz Big editions on there. Hey, I have reviewed only some of the Fushigi Yugi manga on there. Despite that, Fushigi Yugi only has, like, I believe it was 18 volumes on there, which is completed when they were translated it in English by Viz on here. Once you had, like, these first editions under Viz graphic novel editions, which is part of Animerica Extra on there, but as when they were first published in the early 2000s, that's why. When it comes to discussing the difference between omnibus manga books as well as completed manga volume singles on there, like all in one, particularly for this one take. There's also 6 completed manga volumes on here. Like, say for example, like, take for the biggest example, Katsuhiro Otomo's manga Akira. I think it was first published in English by Kodansha Comics, which is in English. However, the Japanese edition of the Akira manga is, I think it's probably available though, which is also in Japanese when it was printed in Japan as well. However, the English translated manga of the Akira manga by Katsuhiro Otomo only has 6 volumes in a manga box set, which is part of the Akira box set, which includes the Akira Club art book on there, which is included as well, accordingly, which I have wanted to come by of how I wanted to discuss about completed manga volume singles, as well as complete omnibuses for manga on here, of how I wanted to discuss for this video as well. I must say, though, is that I have discovered this, despite that I have, for example, like for other manga from Rumiko Takahashi on here, like, say for example, like I have some Ranma 1/2 manga books. Most of them I have that are these individual volumes on here, because most of them were translated in English when there was only 36 of them. However, the Japanese editions of the Ranma 1/2 manga were printed in Japanese, like under like 38 volumes in Japan as well. However, Viz Media also did got the 2-in-1 editions of the Ranma 1/2 manga, which how they taking 2 volumes altogether for a 2-in-1 editions that are more different than other mangas in 3-in-1 editions as well, unlike most of them out for this kind as well. But I think that makes a lot more different though as well how we come by for this. However, for the old editions of the Kira Toriyama manga titles like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z manga, like these hardcover edition ones back in the early 2000s, most of them had, like, for example, the original Dragon Ball manga, like these hardcover ones I have, that is with the old editions from Viz graphic novel edition ones. I think some of them were like 42 volumes on here. Yeah, I think they were published under 42 volumes in these old editions before the newer edition ones come out, before they put out these complete Dragon Ball manga box set, as well as the complete Dragon Ball Z manga box set also as well, before they put out those Viz Big editions of the Dragon Ball manga, as well as the Viz Big edition of the Dragon Ball Z manga, according to how the reader's perspective, whenever they can read those Viz Big editions for any manga collector out there as well. As what I understand why particularly, that's the biggest concerns of how I have different types of reading perspective, whether I can read a manga that is all completed volumes, like all totaled ones, as same goes with these 3-in-1 editions of manga, those omnibus ones. Hey, even Berserk has now released in volume 41, which is now coming out. Berserk has got like over 40 manga books volumes on there. This is how, when they release those hardcover editions of the Berserk manga, as how they wanted to do this. For every manga reader has its different perspective of how they wanted to come across to buy these manga books that have your different types of reading perspectives as well, of how I come for that as well. Well, it's not the first manga volumes that are completed. Like the older mangas from Dark Horse Manga of its kind. But I think this makes it a lot more different, though, is that this there has there's most manga books that are still releasing, like, and it's always as the part of the ongoing manga volumes on there. Like, say for example, like Case Closed, or also known as Detective Conan, I think it had like over 70 volumes on there, and it's basically still ongoing as well, because they were translated in English by Viz Media as well, and it hasn't still been completed as well. I mean, last year, hey, that's the biggest thing of how I wanted to come by for this. When One Piece had like 99 volumes last year, volume 100 came out, so I'm thinking that One Piece is starting to have like over 100 volumes. That's the thing. When it has like over, especially if you want to own like 100 manga books in your manga collection, that's why. So that's going to be it for my discussion about the difference between manga omnibuses and completed manga volume singles for today's discussion topic video for today. You guys, thank you for watching, but before we go, here's what I'm going to say for this video. Well, basically, this is the new type of topic I wanted to talk about, especially for when it comes to under the related topic discussion dealing with manga, that I haven't thought of doing one until now, which I have been doing, that I have got it planned. That's why. Hope subscribe for content. My Anime Planet link in the description down below. You can share this video on your Twitter, Facebook, if you have Twitter and Facebook account, and all social media. If you want to check out my Anime Planet, because I have a huge backlog of manga and anime on my Anime Planet account, the link will be in the description down below. Patreon link will be in the description down below also as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below on this video. Let me know in the comments section below if you like as well. And also, smack the like button if you enjoyed this video. Click on the subscribe button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new to my channel. Smack the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified also as well for more latest updates as well, particularly, especially if you're new to my channel. And for all of you who's watching the channel, though, I'm starting to become an expert in manga, because I have been reading about a lot of manga books as well, because I still read a lot of them. Hey, I even also want to start some manga reading logs as well as manga review videos as well, because I'm starting to become a manga collector. That's the thing, because I have been reading manga since I have started my manga collection as well. Once I get one of these days I might do some manga organization once I plan to get another shelf for the manga collection in the future as well, because I'm still have my plans for that. And keep otaku for this discussion video, because I wanted to do this video, that's why. And I know today's Friday. This is Rurouni K95 saying thank you for watching my video. I'm glad you liked it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Hope you have a great day. This is Rurouni K95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you soon for more videos. Take care. Bye.